Hey, welcome back to the channel. We've got a fun one for you. We had a multi-day shoot in San Diego, so we had the whole crew down. We had a fun time and learned a lot of good things, and learned that Augie is the only one that knows how to fold one of these dang reflectors.
Guy letting out the air brakes out.
I'm squished in the middle, Mike is driving, and Augie's on the side. So yeah, three of us are squished in our van on the way down to San Diego for a fun shoot for a client, and it's going to be great. We're finishing up a little bit of pre-production in the car, shot listing, the schedules are all done, and the client has all the info they need, but we just want to be a little better prepared on our end, so doing some of that prep. It's early, we're loading out. So as Mike pointed out in his vlog about this, we did do a great job of scheduling for this project. We gave ourselves adequate time and the client let us have it, so that was fantastic. We could have done better in planning our B-roll. Ready to roll it in. We were not able to scout these locations, but we were able to get them to send us iPhone reference pictures. So we built lighting diagrams based off the references, and for the most part, they worked out pretty well for us. These were scripted fake interviews, so we used a teleprompter to have them use their script, but they weren't looking into the lens. We just were running the teleprompter on the iPad off to the side so that they were looking like they were talking to an off-camera interviewer, but they were actually reading the teleprompter. So this is a little bit of BTS. Augie was really good at getting BTS because Mike and I were crazy busy setting things up, and Augie was too, but he had the presence of mind to grab his phone and get some BTS for us. So I'm going to try something a little different on this vlog. Let me know how you like it. I am going to let some of the audio roll as we're doing some of these interviews, just so you can kind of see what we're doing on set, just kind of how we're running, how we're directing people, how we're talking to talent, and how we're talking to each other. So let me know if you like that, if it's helpful.
Yeah, I can't focus on that. Actually, pull that screen out.
Actually, we're seeing a knuckle. We're seeing backlight.
No.
I'll get it. You guys are back.
No. Oh, the knuckle. Yeah, you're right. So
we're getting him caught up on how to read the teleprompter because he's never read one before, which is the case with the majority of talent. So just kind of trying to set our clients up for success and make sure we're setting ourselves up for success. And there's a lot of moving pieces that go into making a good interview. I'm assuming that refrigerator, whatever this, can't be turned off.
Is that an ice maker?
As a cinematographer, I love to forget audio until the very last second and get the ice makers turned off and all those silly things. If we had a sound recorder, they would have caught that way sooner. But we catch it right before we roll.
Proactive, partner-focused approach.
To breathe a little and kind of emphasize, pick some words to emphasize. Okay. So it feels, because in a normal conversation, I'm not like, ba, 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 ba.
Right.
So we don't want it to feel like that. So
I was trying to catch up to that prompter.
Yeah.
All right, let's slow down.
So, yep, I'm going to slow down ahead a touch so you can feel like you're delivering at a conversational pace. And now for the lighting breakdown. So you can see that we essentially have a double diffuse light. We've got a bounce, and we're shooting a Nanlite 720 through a pop-up silk, and then again through an 8x T-bar diffusion. On the cart, we've got monitor, we've got teleprompter running off of the cart, and then we've got the camera A, camera B, we've got the mic boomed in, we have the silk toppering them because there's a skylight there that was just really throwing a funky kind of yellow shadow. So you can see the key to diffusion is space, because if all that's stacked up, you don't get that big soft light. So double diffusing, you have to have the space for it. And we use these little lighting heads. They're like makeup heads that you get off Amazon for like $20-$30. But they are fantastic for not wasting a man to stand there as we're setting up lights. We're also using the Nanlite tube lights for the backup, the Kupo boom arms, and then I got some 5-pound sandbags that we use. So, yeah, you can just kind of see what we did there. We threw a Fernie pad blanket down on the grounds to help with sound. And we like to use an ultra bounce for our fill or neg. That way it's real easy to flip around and get a fill or a neg without having to bring in a whole nother thing. And here's the iPad teleprompter that we're running, which is also my director's monitor, also my notepad. So that was fun, losing that every time we needed the teleprompter. Here we are setting up for the next location, similar setup. The 2 cameras, the double diffuse lights, the topper, because there was another weird skylight up there. And in this case, we went with the neg instead of the bounce for the ultra bounce to give the right shape for the same view. So that's what we're talking about. It's so easy having that ultra bounce because you can just flip it one way or the other and get what you need, which is fantastic. Also, got to get that microphone in as close as you can to get the best sound possible.
Streamline operations, HPS can mobilize quickly for assignments of any size, consistently upholding the high standards that define us.
So day 1 was interviews, day 2 was construction sites, and we still had to dial in a few key details like, okay, where exactly are we going to park? Where are we going to meet you? Who's our contact when we get there? Just to make sure that everything would run smoothly on that day. And then we just kind of have a little bit of walkthrough of this lighting setup. You can kind of see how we did that there. And then the cameras we were using, but you know, it's all pretty straightforward stuff. It's kind of our standard setup. And here you can see Mike getting the gimbal ready for some B-roll action and getting us ready to rock and roll. We had some office B-roll to do for this, just different shots of the office and different aspects of it, as well as shots in the warehouse. So we wanted to showcase all the different elements of the company. So you can see here, we're just getting some B-roll. Had a little director's monitor. We had no clients around, so we just dragged the 7-inch around. We didn't bring the big guy, just because I was the only one that needed to see it. And you can see we are throwing some light where we want it by bouncing, using the spotlight attachment, bouncing the light off of that wall to get the light where we want it so that it doesn't feel so flat. Because if we would have just thrown a light at them against the shelves, it would have just made a nasty shadow and felt flat. So we really wanted the light to kind of come from that wall, so we felt pretty good about that. And it gave us the freedom to move around and get the different shots we needed, doing a lot of long lens gimbal here. And once this day was over, we packed it out and packed it back in. I made a quick little video for Salins about this cart and some of the features on it and something new that they just dropped.
Avi got it. How'd you do it? Magic. In other words, I don't know. Here, do it again. Here, give it to me. You do it again. No.
After another fantastic day of production, we loaded out and went back to the Airbnb and did more pre-production to get ready for the next day. For the construction, we started out with the easy rig and the gimbal ring and the whole bit like we typically do, but with hard hats and with the comms falling off and with everything going on, we realized that the way we set Augie up was the way to go, which is just hold the gimbal and keep it simple. I had a director's monitor. I also had a drone. I had all this junk around my neck. And I mean, we got what we needed, but we just kind of learned it was not optimal. And we even brought all that garbage out on the pier. And as we were fighting with it more and more, we just realized we needed to drop it. And so we went to straight pistol gimbals. We have very little behind the scenes of construction day because boy, was it busy. We were all over the place. We had, I think, 6 locations that we hit that day. And every one of them was construction site, you know, wearing full PPE, trying to use the Hollyland solid goms with hard hats on. That was entertaining. We got something to fix that from Hollyland that they sent us, so we'll be making a new video about that soon, so you can check that out. But we just got to film a lot of high-rise construction downtown, so you know, coming from a smaller town of Bakersfield where we don't have high rises, it was all pretty cool. Those of you who live in big cities are like, whatever, who cares? But, you know, we had a good time and we got a lot of good content. Then we went to a condo to showcase the residential work they do and got a lot of cool stuff there. So here we are on like the 25th floor of this high rise and we had to see out the windows, had a nice high key situation. And so we brought up the 720 with a softbox and blasted that at them, and that was how we made this work, and it ended up looking pretty decent. And Augie was, you can see him filling in with the 260 watt lights, you know, for a few things, just because we need a little bit more juice, and it worked out well. And then we were doing some close-ups on the shoes, the booties specifically, and Augie's just manning those lights, grabbing those low gimbal shots. Mike's there monitoring on the iPad. So that's, man, that was how we did it. And we would just move lights around. Tennis balls on those C-stands. Notice those tennis balls don't want to scratch up this nice condo floor. This is not a cheap room that we're in, so you don't want to mess up their floors. When you're working for a client, you don't want to mess people's floors up. So tennis balls on the stands is a good way to do that. Quick little time lapse here. Again, very simple lighting setup. We're throwing a big soft light into the corner where we're getting the action, and then we come into a bathroom. There's no lighting here. Actually, there is. We're bringing light in through the window. Nice. So that's how we're making that look nice. And there's Augie hanging out at 25 stories. Again, just Hollywooding these Godoxes like a champ. Look at that view, though. That was quite a fun little trip. And then we came back to the Airbnb we were staying at to get some shots in the kitchens and bathrooms there. And here we're creating some fake sun through that window to give it a nice pop. We ended up putting some another light out the window just to give a little more punch, and then one more light under the sink so that when he gets in there, you know, it's not so dark. So that was nice. The bathroom, super small space to work with, but again, we just pushed that bright light through the window. We threw a diffuser up in front of it. And that really gave us a decent light inside that room to work with. So just push a bright light in a small window, and it'll light up your space, and it feels natural and motivated. And because we had that pop-up, you just saw white, so it just looked like a window blown out instead of looking like there was a light shining through the window. So that definitely made it look a lot better. So simple stuff, but it really looks good. And cut. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Augie's got it. It was a production company from LA.
Whoa! What the heck is wrong with people?
So because we got a little behind on construction day, we ended up skipping lunch, and so I took the guys out for a good dinner to make up for it. They were good sports, and then we were back at it the next day. Well, the third day was all B-roll of their vans in different places in town, and then a couple, city shots as well. But we had a car rig with a gimbal that we would put up, and we would do some car-to-car stuff with that. We also were holding the gimbal arm out the window for some shots, driving around different areas downtown. We had some drone shots, so we just had a good mix of stuff going on here. But this car rig worked out for us. Some of the footage is definitely a little shaky. It's not like exactly a tilt-a-hydra arm, but it's also a whole lot cheaper. Funny story, I actually ordered a tilt-a-hydra arm and had it sitting in my office, and then decided that, we're just going to send this back because this is very expensive, and when are we ever going to do this again? So that was kind of stupid to buy that. So I just sent it right back unopened to B&H. We've got transmission. We've got an extra Insta360 just to get a little BTS from back here. So as we watch that BTS, you can see as we roll down the road, this system worked. It was not the most steady. It would have been nice to have that arm to take the shock out, but it worked. At the end of the day, it worked, and we were able to get the shots we needed. The good to crap ratio was not what we wanted, but we got enough shots. So if we did this again, we would definitely come up with a different system. But you can see that, gosh, it's possible, and it does work. And again, the budget on this project didn't allow for us to have a Hydra arm or anything. So we did the best we could with what we had.
Dead battery.
Also, once we were set up, it started raining. So we had to pull everything off, put everything back on. But we got it all dialed in eventually. So the way we're running this is we have a tilt-a-ring, grip ring we can control the gimbal with, and then we have the director's monitor with a wireless feed, so we're able to see the image, and we can also start and stop the camera with that tilt-a-grip, so that was handy to not have to just roll the whole time. One of the things we were doing was getting shots of the van coming through various landmarks. We were just on the phone with the driver basically all day, directing, communicating, so he knows, okay, I'm rolling up. Okay, cool, we're rolling. Go ahead and come through. And we would just communicate and get all these different shots. Some was gimbal on the street. Some was, gimbal out the car. And some was drone. And we just kind of got a whole variety. They're flying the drone. Mike is getting behind the scenes, and we're getting that van roll by. And Augie grabbed a little behind the scenes of me flying, getting some different shots of the neighborhood as we were getting the van coming through a neighborhood. So all said and done, we were happy with the results of the shoot. We definitely like to do a post-shoot evaluation, which we did in the car on the way home. We had probably a 30, 45-minute debrief that we record, then we go back through later and kind of pull the notes out of, so that we can have our lessons learned and we can do a better job next time. But we had a good time. It was a good trip, and we got some great content. Clients got the first draft, so we're waiting for feedback at this point, and we'll get it all dialed in. And they were real happy with the first video, so we're pretty sure they're going to be happy with the next video, and we're just going to keep going. So stay tuned for the final film once we finish it and the client approves it, so you can check out what we did. And if you're in the Encinitas area, definitely go by Senior Grubbies. This is Josh from Story King Studios signing off. Story King Studios, where we make videos about making videos so that you can watch videos about making videos so that you can make more videos about making videos.